One Piece, Chapter 8, Nami.
Hello once again, brothers and sisters of the nation, Jim's Nerd Nation. I, of course, am Jim, here to bring you reviews. And today, and generally ramble about nonsensical things, today I am here to bring you a review for One Piece Chapter 8. The chapter is entitled, and properly titled, Nami. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because we're introduced fairly quickly into the chapter. We're introduced to a new character. So the chapter starts out with our two heroes, Zoro and Luffy, in the small dinghy boat, whatever you want to call it. It's not exactly a ship yet, and they're sailing off toward the Grand Line. They're both talking and kind of bitching and complaining because they're starving. There's no food to eat, and Luffy's talking about, hey, listen, we need to get... Zoro says we need a navigator, and because we don't know what the hell we're doing or where we're going. You know, he says, how do you just float around aimlessly? And Luffy says, well, it's worked so far for me. I thought you were the scourge of the seas and this and that. And, and Zoro says, I don't ever remember referring to myself as that. What happened is I was actually out hunting down a pirate, and once I caught him, I couldn't find my way back to my town. So I pretty much just wandered around aimlessly, and a guy's got to eat and, have money and everything else. So I pretty much just became a pirate hunter to make ends meet, because he was such a bad navigator, he couldn't even find his way back to his own town. So I thought that was kind of comical. But he says, so first and foremost, Luffy, we need a navigator. And then Luffy says, yeah, and we need a cook and a musician and and he says, we can get all those things later, but we need a navigator now. So they see this bird flying overhead, and, Luffy says, man, it's a bird. We're starving. We should, get it and cook it and eat it. And Zoro says, well, how the hell are we going to do that? And Luffy says, leave it up to me, and he pulls one of his signature moves, and he goes, gum gum rocket, and stretches up into the sky and grabs the bird. And then it goes and it cuts to a panel of showing the actual bird, and the bird's actual size is, it's huge. I mean, Luffy's hanging on, and he's like got his arms like this, and he's hanging like in his beak, and he's basically now like, oh shit, because this thing's 15 feet long, So, at any rate, Zoro, then it cuts back to Zoro, and Zoro is rowing like hell in this little boat to try to keep up with them, so his friend, doesn't get lost and doesn't get away. And he winds up happening upon some people that are floating in the ocean. Our ship is sunk. They've been shipwrecked, and he doesn't even stop or slow down. He just says, "Hey, listen, just climb aboard. I've got shit to do." So these guys get on. There's 3 or 4 of them, and one of them goes and tries to pull out a sword and says, we're pirates of Buggy the Clown, And one of them then recognizes, and Zoro kind of just looks at him and smiles with that smirk, And I think they just could tell then, once they looked at him upon closer inspection, that, hey, this is a guy that you don't want to fuck with. And one of them says, hey, we're sorry, we were just joking around, So anyway, Zoro says, okay, great, now you made me lose my friend. What is the deal with you guys anyway? What the hell happened to you that you're floating in the middle of the sea? So then there's a flashback that ensues, and this is when we're introduced to the Nami character, because the pirates, they say, listen, we had just gotten this great haul from a merchant ship, and we see this small, boat or whatever with, a girl, a woman collapsed or kind of slumped over in there. So we pull up alongside her, and they go and get out of their ship and get into her boat to see what's going on. And she kind of pulls the damsel in distress, the little orphan Annie thing, and she says, oh my God, I need some water, and she has this treasure chest in the middle of her boat, and they're going, oh, well, first we want to see what's in the treasure chest. The pirates of Buggy the Clown are asking this. And she says, oh no, I just need some water, and they say, well, we are saving you after all, let's see what you have in the chest. So while this happens, she's pretty slick. She goes and climbs onto their ship and winds up, cutting the moorings or whatever they had to anchor it to them, a rope or what have you, and leaves them on her small boat with what turns out to be an empty treasure chest. She duped them. She's pretty sharp, we find out, and she says, hey, see you guys. She also, and they allude to this a couple panels later when Zoro was talking about how she must be a great navigator, because she winds up doing this all shortly before there is a big storm on the horizon. And she ultimately, did that and pulled this on them to kind of switch boats and move up to a bigger ship that would not be swallowed up by the seas in this squall that was coming, because that's how they wound up being shipwrecked, this small boat then was pretty much engulfed and capsized. So she's obviously pretty sharp, and she's a good trickster too, because I mean that's pretty slick to go in, and I don't care how dumb pirates are, to go in without having to stab or shoot or have any type of real confrontation, being able to steal their ship out from under them with their haul, mind you, that they just got from the merchant vessel that they robbed. So anyway, it goes back to for a panel or two, to Zoro in the boat, talking to them, to the pirates, and they say, well, haven't you ever heard of Buggy the Clown? He's the most feared pirate in this part of the Grand Line. And he says, no, I haven't. And they say, well, because he ate the devil fruit, which they've referred to the gum fruit as the devil fruit. So I don't know if there's several different types or the same type. I'm sure we'll find out soon. But then it winds up going and taking us and cutting to, it looks like somewhere on land, I'm assuming. And you see a figure running that's just stolen this map, and has stolen this map of the Grand Line. And as that's all happening, you can tell that this is the other remaining crew, maybe in port or at the dock, of Buggy the Clown, this feared pirate. So you hear somebody go and say, hey, there's something weird in the sky or abnormal, and it's Luffy, who's hanging on to the bird still and is now over land. And Captain, or Buggy the Clown, this pirate, says, well, shoot it down. So they fire a cannon shot. And this is to show you the way the writing is done and how clever this character Nami is. She doesn't know anything about Luffy, hasn't met him, but we find out that she is the one we see in the next panel. She's the one who actually stole this map from Buggy the Clown of the Grand Line. So she's duped some of his crew, taken his ship, and now has stolen a map of the Grand Line. So anyway, so Luffy gets shot down, and in a pile of smoke and rubble and everything, he stands up and says, oh, geez, oh, good, I'm okay, and he brushes himself off. And everybody's going, what the hell, thinking, why isn't this kid hurt, And so, of course, he's upset about his straw hat, getting roughed up over there, because what she does, they're after Nami, the crew, and they're actually after her for stealing the map. She goes and looks up at him right away and says, oh, great, thank you, boss, you came back for me, looking to Luffy, and then keeps on running. She knows, this is where the genius is, she knows that this is going to detract from them chasing her for the map, because they're going to think, oh, now we've got her boss. We can, capture him, torture him, hold him, question him, whatever. So they start coming after Luffy, and that's when he starts, kind of scuffling it up with them, getting into a little bit of a dust up, and he's more pissed off about them messing with his beloved hat that that Shanks gave him 10 years ago. So all in all, like I said, I think it was a pretty cool chapter. I'm sure as it wears on, there's going to be some that's not always going to be my opinion of. I don't want to come across as the person who's always like super positive about everything, but so far it's still pretty new to me. And being only 8 chapters into a rich, deep series and story that has been around for 15, 16 years, there's got to be something to it if it's been around for that long, and if these chapters are still coming out on a weekly basis. So there's certainly something to be said for that. And I'm going to do a review as well, and do kind of a roundup, I guess you'd say a summary of the first volume, some of my impressions, and I was thinking of even putting in maybe like a speed drawing sketch of me sketching up one of the characters from One Piece. So leave in the comments down below. I'll be doing that during the course of this week here. It has not been done yet, so leave something in the comments if there's a beloved character that you'd like to see me sketch up, or something that kind of pertains to or you think embodies the first volume of One Piece. So, but anyway, that's all I have for you today. Please like and comment, and hope to see you in the next one, which will be Chapter 9 and the beginning of the next volume. Thanks again, everyone, and stay strong, brothers and sisters of the nation.
Once again, thank you everyone for the continued support, the positive comments, and ultimately welcoming me into your community as a newcomer. I hope that I'm doing this beloved series some justice, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and take a look there at one of my other reviews if you haven't seen them yet. Thanks again for joining the nation.